Hello everyone, and thank you so much for coming. I apologize for not being there. I wanted to come so badly, but just didn't feel safe traveling now. So again, thank you. I was 3 when Warren was born, and I'm sure I had all of the usual jealousies, but I remember him as a toddler, and that blonde hair, blue eyes, freckled nose, and beautiful smile endeared me to him at a young age. When we moved to Cary, I was 7 and he was 4. My sister and I were influenced by the Western shows because playing in the field in the back of our house, we decided we could be on the prairie with a covered wagon. So my dad put the wires over the little red wagon. Mom sewed the sheet over top of that, and we would take turns pulling Warren in the covered wagon. Those were such precious times, and I remember looking back at him, and he was just so darling in there. When he was 5 or so, he had to have the Davy Crockett outfit, the full-on one with the fringe, everything, including the coon skin cap, and nobody better ever pull on that tail. He'd get so mad. Mom wouldn't let him have the gun yet at that age, so he used a stick. Once we moved back to Wauconda, we played together a lot, all of us, and usually had the Monopoly game going for days like you do, and puzzles, all kinds of things. But my favorite thing to play with Warren was pushing the mercury along the indentations in the cork tile on the floor. And the ones whose broke up first lost, and that was usually me. We all went to Sunday school every Sunday, Mom being in the choir, and afterwards Mom and Dad would drop us off at Grandma's house. She had homemade cookies, every game or puzzle or card game you could think of. I remember especially checkers and parcheesi. Those were the two. And sometimes Brother Warren would beat his older sisters at those. I remember getting upset. Quite young, Warren got a deck of Disney character cards, and he started drawing them. And my mom, I remember commenting, saying, he's so good. They look just like them. His favorite was Donald Duck. And over the years, he could quack like a duck, like anybody. He was so good at it. At one point, I got into being a tomboy, I think 4th or 5th grade. Warren, Gary Thompson, a couple of the Lincolns would be up in the treehouse most of the day in the summer, and I'd beg to go up there. And they'd say, no, girls. Except for one day, Warren let me come up there and be a tomboy with the guys. It was so cool of him. My dad's nickname growing up was Buster, thanks to his older brother, Kenny. So naturally, when Warren was born, he was going to be Little Buster. My mom put a stop to that right away, and out of that came Buffy, which that nickname stuck, as you know, and many people knew him as Buffy. He went to Southern Illinois University one year, and he made these beautiful designs and drawings of houses that he developed, he made. And the pictures were still in the basement when I was home one time cleaning out the basement, and they were just excellent. Warren was very talented. In his 20s, Warren had a love of snakes. He had Noah the Boa and Arthur the King. Thank you, Hope Delaware, for those names. I would never have remembered those. And she also said in her comment that she inherited the snakes. At family gatherings with Mom and Dad, we often played Scrabble after dinner. That was our family game. And guess who was always the winner? Almost. Nobody ever caught up to Warren's wins with Scrabble. And then, of course, the poker games in Dad's basement. Every time I came home, I'd ask Warren once again, what beats what? And he'd tell me, and I'd write them down. And I still remember that 5 of a kind beat a royal flush, because I thought that was incredible, but it did. And he would always tease me about my tell, and I'd go, what tell? I don't know what you're talking about. Warren loved grilling out on the grill, and his brats, hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever he made out there was always just the best, especially with Mom's or Mary's homemade fries and the corn on the cob and the tomatoes from Dad's yard, because Warren found the best place in the yard for them to grow. Warren was the quiet one in the group until you asked him to tell his latest joke. he would get on a roll, and I'd ask him, how do you keep all of those in your head? The only one I remember today is, what's the dentist's favorite time? 2:30. Get it? He had a great sense of humor, Warren did, and I always sent him funny cards for his birthdays and holidays, and Sue and I took turns sending him the Far Side flip calendar every Christmas. He just loved those. I remember one time when I was home, Dad asked Warren and I to go to the dollar store and get him some new drinking glasses, because unfortunately he was starting to drop things. And he had a cardboard cutout the exact height and width of his glasses. He said, I'm sure you'll find them at the dollar store. So Warren and I head out to the dollar store, to Kohl's, and then on Route 12 till we got to that Target Development Place shopping center. Went to several stores there, never found the exact size, but brought him home some comparables. And I just remember how much fun Warren and I had that day. Other times too, we just go for a ride in his truck and end up at the Forest Preserve, and it was just so always easy talking with my brother, always. Warren was so good with Dad and Mary in their later years. He would drop whatever he was doing when Dad called and find that pen that Dad dropped on the floor that I thought he lost, run down to the store and get the one thing Dad needed, and then stay for dinner and watch the Cubs, whatever. And after Mary passed, he even did things like fill Dad's medicine box every week so that Dad could stay home longer. I told Warren over the years I wished he had found someone special and gotten married and had kids, because he would have been such a great family man. But he never did. Once he brought a gal named Emily to Phoenix for a week, and we had so much fun. I liked her a lot, but nope, didn't happen. And the only other time he flew there was for my wedding in '85, and then he and Dad drove out one time. And Mark did that same thing for Dad too later. They each drove Dad out to Phoenix one time. So that was wonderful that he did that. I am so thankful for Warren for almost 70 years. I just miss him so much. Over the years, living so far away, I would call Warren on Sundays, maybe once a month, and we'd catch up on everything. And he was always so easygoing, so easy to talk to and listen, a good listener. During COVID, I called him every Sunday that I could, about 4 o'clock his time. And I would complain about not being able to go to concerts and they're locked down and can't see my friends as much and all that. And he'd always reassure me and say, don't worry, you will again. This too shall pass. The last time I was home in September of 2019, I spent one whole Sunday with Warren. We had such a nice conversation, just talking about the old days and all kinds of things. And he told me that he really was okay, even though he stayed alone a lot and didn't go out a lot. He was okay with that, and it was enjoying life. For dinner, we walked in the rain down to Middleton's, and he bought me dinner. That was so nice. And I was also grateful. I called Warren the Sunday before he died. I asked him all about Jim's celebration of life, and he told me, and I'm so glad that he went to that. And then the next thing he talked about, the last thing he told me, was how much he missed the Hold'em games with what he called his second family. So if any of you guys are listening, that's what he called you. It meant so much to him, and that's what he was going to do next, go play those games with you again. Warren's love of poker, Hold'em, the Cubs, his sense of humor and joke-telling, his mild manner, and easygoing personality made him one of a kind. And of course, his masonry talents, especially in his later years with Ronnie, designing, repairing many chimneys, hearths, walkways, cornerstones, brick posts like the one at the Potter House on Main. And all of these will be his legacy, to be used, admired, and enjoyed for years to come. Every time we see them, we can think about my dear brother Warren. Thank you.